All right. Hi, Rachel.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. Well, I just want to welcome everybody to our live tonight. I am joined by the fabulous Rachel Strickland. I just want to thank you so much for coming on, taking the time, and sharing your knowledge and just your success story with us. I personally greatly appreciate it. And I just hope that maybe somebody can learn something tonight. So,
Thanks for
uh,
inviting me on.
yeah, people are saying hello. Let's
Hey Coco.
excuse me here. I'll give a couple of people a few more minutes to get on. So I have some pre-written questions written up. If we don't have any questions coming in the chat. And then basically I'm just gonna see if you want to tell us your story and how you got started and all of that fun stuff. So
Sure.
is that your
Hey Drew.
husband?
Yeah, that's my hubby.
Hi Drew. Did you have any fun sales this week?
I ended every item that I had in clothing, accessories, shoes, like everything. Ended
Yeah.
like 3 pages of stuff. It was over 300 things and relisted and adjusted my prices down to I don't want all of these clothes in my office anymore. And just today, like 4 of the items sold. Stuff that's been sitting
Awesome.
there. So, some of it's been sitting there. I know I had that J. Crew shirt listed for probably the last 3 years.
Wow.
And it
Gotta
sold.
get it moving.
And a pair of Sam Edelman shoes and a Michael Kors blazer that I don't even remember listing it. And something that like literally 4 pieces of clothing right there.
Somebody
How
asked,
does
how does it feel getting to 20,000?
it feels really good, Coco. Kind of a little bit surreal to be honest with you, just because man, I just don't take it for granted. I realize, the audience is everything. The audience is so important. Like your friends on YouTube mean the whole world. So I never want to take that for granted. I just want to like keep adding to our tribe though.
Now that jump happened pretty quick, didn't it? From like 13 to 20?
It may have been quick for you guys. I feel like nothing about YouTube has been quick. After 15, I feel like things escalated quickly. But after 15, I put out a couple videos that performed very, very well. There were like 2 videos that have almost 40,000 views a piece that were after I hit 15K, and like one of them has grown 1,800 subscribers off of one video and the others gained like 2,200 off of one video. So combine those two together, I mean, that really contributed. Harry Tornado helped me out a lot with like thumbnails, everything that know about thumbnails. I basically learned from just listening to him and not trying to think that I know more because I don't. And then also listening to my son, who he knows so much about YouTube because he watches YouTube all the time. So like one day he told me to stop putting words in my thumbnail, and I was like, "You're so smart." He said, "Mom, no one wants to read 2 titles. What are you even doing?" And so I was like, okay, I'm going to not take offense to this. I try not to
That
be
works? Do
really
I need to try
defensive.
that?
Do what?
I said, has it worked? Do I need to try that?
Oh yeah, that works. I mean,
I
it's
feel
true.
like
Don't
that
put a
would
bunch.
make
Yeah.
making thumbnails so much faster.
Yeah, because you see like my thumbnails in the very, very beginning and now, and a lot of that just comes with expertise. It like comes with practice. And I say a lot of the times I'm glad I didn't like start a channel and it blew up the same week, because I wouldn't have any idea what to do. I wouldn't know what I was doing. My content would probably be trash, so who knows whether or not they'd stick around. I'm not saying it's perfect content now, but I've grown a lot in putting out 500 videos. You know what I mean?
That is a lot of videos. How does
Which
it
is
feel?
how does it feel that Delo's becoming an entrepreneur? That's my oldest son is Delo. He's 17, and Coco, I don't feel like he's becoming an entrepreneur. I feel like he was born an entrepreneur. Like he's that kid. You hear that a lot of resellers, but he's always been that kid. Like he's going to figure out a way to make $5 out of 50 cents. He's always been that way, but it's really, really amazing to see him want to explore some of the same sources of income that Drew and I have, and wanting to, anytime, like I think regardless of what you are, if you're a plumber, if you're a movie star, if you hear your kids say that they kind of want to like follow in your footsteps, that's always really cool because you think, oh, well, they don't think I'm like a total weirdo. They actually think I must be successful because they want to do the same stuff I'm doing. Like he wants to do a YouTube channel now. He's a reseller. He does great.
That's awesome. Got a couple people saying hello.
Hi,
That's
Alan.
my dad. Hello.
Did you say that's your
Hi,
dad?
Colin. Hi. Hi, hi, hi.
What's up, Chrissy?
So let's just start maybe where you can just tell us how you got started reselling. Like, where did it begin? How long ago? How'd you know it was what you wanted to keep doing?
Sure. So I was selling real estate and I was just like watching some girl's YouTube video once and she talked about going to the Goodwill bins, which I had never even been to at the time, and how she got some stuff and she was selling it. And I thrifted at the time, but more out of necessity because we didn't have a whole lot of, well, when my oldest son was really young, I definitely did them, but now it was kind of more like to save money. So I would pass up things all the time that were fantastic brands or phenomenal products because they weren't my size or we didn't need them, but it always kind of like pains you to leave it at the thrift store, you know? And I was like, wait a minute, you're telling me I could buy those cachet pants. And even though they were a size 6, they're not going to fit me. I could have sold them to someone else, you know? And so I went to the bins and I found like some designer purses. I found, I think Spartina and Coach and Marc Jacobs purses on like my first day out to the bins. And it's 6-hour round trip for me.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was, yeah, it was like a dedication go to the bins. But when I came back, I fired up eBay and I started listing stuff. And I told my husband I was pregnant at the time. And I said, I want to make $100 a week. If I could make, like, how life-changing would that be? And that's what I was thinking about with your last video where you were talking about making $210 in a weekend at home with your kids, you know, in 3 hours time of work. And at the time I remember I just wanted to make $100 a week. And I thought if I could make $100 a week, we had, we were caring for 2 kids and I was pregnant at the time. So our family of 5, basically, that was our grocery bill.
Yeah.
And so I thought, man, if I could just pay for the groceries in buying stuff at thrift stores, and so but I'm going to try to do that. And, man, it grew really fast and it probably grew a bit out of necessity because 2020 hit and we had to stay at home. And in staying at home, I really started finding stuff to flip. And that was when my son got into it too, because he wanted to make some money to spend on cool stuff during, you know, quarantine. So I started selling more and more and more. And then that turned into my car breaking down and flipping my whole death pile for a Bronco so that we could pay cash for a brand new car. I've never had a new car in my life.
Yeah.
So it just like, it's a snowball and it has maintained us being debt free. It has, you know, helped us to afford remodeling different areas of our home. We've remodeled our bathroom, we're remodeling our deck and things like that. And it the whole time, like still staying home with my kids. And I remember the first time that I had $1,000 deposit from eBay in a week. And I thought I just wanted to make $100 in a week. And like, I got kind of emotional that day when I saw $1,000. That was like my net. That was what was deposited that week. And then, you know, you compound that now with Whatnot and Poshmark and finally, you know, YouTube monetization and being able to, I started selling because someone introduced me on YouTube. So the fact that I can introduce other people, not only to what reselling is, but how to be successful. And now I'm finally like starting to see dividends of that too. I mean, yeah, Coco said when that happens to me, I'll definitely cry. I'm telling you, you work so hard and you finally find niches that you love to sell in. And that's when I feel like it clicks.
Yeah. What would you say your niche, your favorite niche is?
I love designer stuff, but I don't find it as much. But if I had a choice to pick up designer or vintage, I would say I would probably pick, if I could only choose one, I would choose the vintage because designer is valuable. Like luxury products are valuable to a plethora of people. Vintage products may end up in the trash if I don't save them. Like if I found, you know, a Louis Vuitton and I don't know, some antique fairy lamp, someone else is going to buy the Louis Vuitton. It's not going to end up in the garbage. With the fairy lamp, like who's to say someone else is going to come along and appreciate that? So I would rather save the vintage as much as I love luxury. But those two kind of go hand in hand. I'll pick up anything designer or luxury or designer or vintage.
I never really thought about it that way, but you make a really good point about, the vintage is dying art.
Yeah. I mean, anything made out of wood, metal, and glass, it's really hard for me to pass up that kind of stuff.
And you like paper too, right? Ephemera? Am I saying that
Yeah,
right?
I like ephemera. I do. Chrissy here says she's agreeing. She loves ephemera as well. It's just again, someone is going to see that as a box of paper, a box of garbage, and throw that out. There's been a few times I got into ephemera by accident, like with my magazine buy. And I made tons of money. I made like $1,500 off of that buy, and I paid $10 for everything. I mean, and what a learning lesson of how to sell ephemera. I would much rather take ephemera to Whatnot than ever list it on eBay. eBay's good. Like I love to list old photos on eBay also. That's
Yeah.
kind of an ephemera that a lot of people don't realize you even could sell. But any vintage made out of paper, if it's a receipt, I promise you there's going to be a buyer for it. It's just what threshold are you willing to list things? Like I sold a gum wrapper on eBay once. It sold for $12, and it was one of those things, again, I kind of wanted to prove a point that it could be sold,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, I've sold an old PlayStation box, just a box. So
Yes. Well, yeah, we love to sell empty boxes. My son's PlayStation 5 box, he was holding on to it for a while, and I said, sell it while that's still the newest one. He got $80 out of the box, just the
I have
box.
I have my iMac box sitting here that I'm like, I should sell it, but it's like
Have to.
way too big and pretty. Like, how would I ship it? I hate shipping big things, but
Definitely with a box, float it inside a box. Like never just add postage to the box that someone's buying. I'm sure everyone's smart enough to know that, but we'll put that out there just as a caveat.
yeah, there's a buyer for everything.
There
Now,
really is.
how long did you say you've been in reselling? I know you mentioned COVID, but like how long before COVID did you start?
So I was pregnant with my oldest, and he's just turned 7, so close to 8 years, I guess now.
Wow.
It's a long time when I think about it. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. It seems like 2 years.
Yeah.
Probably because I enjoy doing it more than I've ever enjoyed anything else. I mean, like there were certain aspects of real estate that I enjoyed. I enjoyed like showing houses to people, and I enjoyed obviously touring nice homes, but more than anything, I sold foreclosures. So I was in dumps a lot. And I enjoyed helping people. I remember selling a house to a guy once. He had a lot of physical and mental handicaps, and he lived with his mother, and basically was just told he would never own a home. And I got him connected with a USDA direct program, which is direct through the government. And we set him up with classes, and they loaned him money to buy a home. And he was a little bit younger than me. And I just think, I think there were certain positions that God had me in real estate right where he needed me, like right where somebody needed something, because it couldn't all have been just the boring part of pushing paper. There was a lot of paper pushing in real estate. And that's just, I would just sit there at my desk thinking I am wasting away here because I have a creative mind, and like that's why I love YouTube. I have to create something. And I just felt like I was like wasting away doing real estate.
Yeah. Wow. I'm looking at my list of questions here.
Hey,
If
Mary.
anybody has any questions for Rachel, you could put them in the comments as well. What has been like your biggest flip? Like you sold it for the highest amount of profit?
During quarantine, I sold some weights because I discovered that those were going for pretty good money. And so I found someone locally that had an entire tree out in their front yard, like a coat rack type of thing that they had made to house weights. And there were over 75 weight plates there. I paid him $75 for everything. I told him I was going to sell it. And I ended up, I mean, that was several smaller flips, but like $3,500 out of my 7,500. And then I picked up some silverware at a yard sale once. I thought that it was silver plate, but when I got home, I realized it was sterling silver. I had actually paid her double what she asked. She asked for $5, and I gave her $10 for it, and I sold it for $1,000.
Oh, wow. That is pretty awesome. The merchants want to know, who is your favorite Mary?
Mary Garcia for sure. Like I can't even imagine saying another Mary. Are there other Marys?
I don't know.
I think that's like, if there are other Marys, they're not worth mentioning. I'm glad no one else here's name is Mary.
Now you were just at Harry Tornado's conference, FlipCon, right? And you taught there.
Yeah, I feel like we were just there, but that it's been a few months now. But yes,
Was that
yeah, he
August?
invited me to speak, and I messaged Haley one day and I said, "Hey, if you don't have the topics lined up yet, could I speak about motivation?" And she said, "That's already what we had you pegged for." And then Josh was like, "Will you give like the opening talk?" And so like talk about, I was just floored. I was extremely excited to even have the opportunity to talk to all those people, like 250, 300 resellers there, and just get to pour into them for half an hour. That was pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
Poor Jesus's mom.
Did you learn a lot there?
Um, you learn some, but I will agree with what Josh has always said, that the true value in any event like that is the networking. Um, if you're a seasoned reseller and done this, going on a decade, I did that. I definitely learned stuff. Because I think that you're going to get out what you go in, expecting. Like if you go in thinking, I'm not going to learn anything here, you certainly won't, because you're already closed off. So I learned things, but it's not like nonstop learning. It's more for the networking, I would say, for sure.
Yeah. I think I used to do events like that when I was in Mary Kay, and I wouldn't really always say that I would learn stuff, but a lot of motivation, like kind of just pushing you forward and all that kind of stuff and pumping you up.
For sure.
If you had to start reselling completely all over again, is there anything you would do differently?
What would I do differently? I probably would have quit my job in real estate sooner to pour more time into reselling, because it's has provided me and given me higher dividends than any job that I ever could have poured into, time wise or financially. Name another job where you can turn $10 into 1,000, and with less than an hour's worth of work. It's not. I'm not a whole lot of legal things come to mind. So I probably would have, if I had to do all over again, I would have abandoned where I was at. I remember staying there because I thought that I was irreplaceable to some people, and they'll replace you before you can even leave. You know what I mean? So if that's your consideration, or if you're just getting into reselling, figure out an exit plan for where you're at very quickly. So because you're going to get out of this what you put into it.
Yeah. Now, you said you did it when you had small children, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was pregnant whenever I started reselling, and all throughout Israel, throughout nursing and everything. He's only 7 now, and then my oldest is 17. Yeah. Yeah, he did. He told me to quit sooner. And I remember specifically having one client that I thought I didn't want to leave this one client. And I was like, well, they're the one that keeps pulling me back every time that I say that I'm done. Every time I took myself off the floor schedule, I did this, I walked away, and they'll call me to list something. They'll call me to buy something. And I remember having that conversation with my broker, and she said, I got to tell you something. They called and they named another agent this week. And I was like, wow, like literally probably 18 months I'd been hanging on for this person, and they called someone else. And I was just like, you got to just leave. The only people you're irreplaceable to is your family. I'm sorry, period. That is a complete sentence. That's it. So, focus on what absolutely matters. I mean, your friends as well. I see my friend Melanie in the chat too. Hi, Melanie. Your friends probably wouldn't want to just replace you either.
Yeah. And that brings me into like my next question. I was going to ask if you have any tips for people who are watching the channel who have small children, and maybe they're like, I don't know how I could balance this with small children. I know I have small children too. And so do you have any tips for balancing reselling or just general working from home?
Yeah, for sure. So as a mom, the best advice, not even as a mom, the best advice I've ever gotten as a woman from another woman. Someone asked me that this past week, and without a doubt, it was a fellow real estate agent, Sherry Hollifield, told me. I remember I had just kind of gotten back to work. I was still nursing my son, and I said, I just don't know how I can do it all. I got to go show this house. I got to do this. I just feel like I'm really pulled in a lot of different directions. And as a reseller, maybe you're feeling the same. And she looked at me and she said, being a mom is your most important job right now. And I was just like, for some reason, hearing that from someone else, especially hearing it from another mom, hearing it from another wife, your kids as a parent are your most important job. There will always be money to make. I promise you're not going to reach the end of this life and think, I wish I had worked more. I wish I had listed that pile of tops, but you may say, I wish I'd went to that kindergarten party. Why didn't I make time to just take them to the fair that year? Why didn't I go rock the bikini and swim with my kids at the pool? Like, focus on the things that matter. And your kids and them being young, like, even them being older, it is your most important work. God entrusted you with bringing up these babies, and I promise you it means more. So if there's a balance, I can tell you most of the time in my life things aren't perfectly balanced. Something has to give. Don't let it be your family life. Don't let it be that. Always err to the side, I guess. If something's got to have a little more weight in your life, let it be what really matters.
Yeah. So how did you know that you could make it?
I'm the cheapest person I know, Rebecca. I am so cheap. So it doesn't take a whole lot for me to make it. Again, your last video, Tiffany, really resonated with me because, you were talking about $210 might not be a lot to a lot of people. Where here we're looking at, I just wanted $100 a week to make it. And, after that, I thought, oh, okay. Like, my husband is self-employed as well. So we're very used to, we don't get a paycheck every week. But we're debt free. We don't have car payments. We have our mortgage. We don't have credit cards. Our cell phone is like $50 a month. I did a video recently about how eBay pays my bills and how low my bills are. They were like $1,000 a month or something. And if I can't resell $12,000 a year, then it might not be for me. So I would say if you had to focus on something before you can go full-time in reselling, maybe try to eliminate your debt. That way that burden isn't always hanging over you. Because I told my son, he's a senior this year, and I'm more cheap than he's pretty cheap too. I told my oldest son, he's a senior this year, I said, so many people have to go to college or they have to get a degree, and then they have to, like, they graduate, they're immediately offered credit cards, which they take, and then they're never given the opportunity to start their own business. So that dream that they had in high school, they accumulated all this debt, and they'll never, many people anyway, will never have the month to take off work to just pursue their own job. They need the paycheck every single week. And it's so hard to break away when you have bills. And so I guess to answer Rebecca's question, I knew I could make it because we live on like next to nothing. We're so cheap.
I'm the same way. I'm couponing in whatever way I can make it the cheapest. But
yeah, for sure. Oh, your dad said that. That's so sweet. They are, though. They really, really are. I can't even imagine my life without my kids. I don't know who I'd be without them. You might not even like me. Yeah, that's probably why we mesh so well together. I mean, he knows if I go on a shopping spree, it's probably to the thrift store. My designer bags are all secondhand unless they were gifts. Moving in. Well, we got a basement. We had to move my parents in once. They lost their home in a fire.
Oh no.
We did have to move them in, but no one's lived here. Well, actually, we moved someone in after that. We've taken care of a few people in this house. Coco and Jewel just move right in.
Now, how many hours would you say that you work on your reselling a week?
Too many. Yeah, too many. I mean, I was telling you before the show started, I really need a day off, and I need a day off of as much stuff as I possibly can take away from. I feel a lot of times that I work almost more on the social media aspect time-wise, because I have the reselling part down where it goes pretty quickly. I mean, I had like 5 things listed before 9 a.m. the other day, just like sitting on the couch. When I was new to reselling, that probably would have taken me a little longer. I can share my Poshmark closet from the car. I can cross list on Vendu from the car. So I've never really add up all the hours. I'm sure it's at least 30 hours. I don't know that I work 40 hours a week reselling though. I really don't think that I do. So, I mean, I guess it's pretty good to, for a part-time job. Anything less than 32 hours, I guess, is part-time.
Mm-hmm. And how many of those, I know it's a little bit kind of aside, but how much would you say that you work in your YouTube?
Oh, more than 30. Yeah, like 78 million hours a week. I mean, it's just editing a video, my last video that came out, just editing it took me 5 hours.
Yeah.
Um, so there was the time that it took us to write the script. My son and I wrote it together. I told him that I would split whatever the video makes because he is a little
It was the
entrepreneur,
Lego one?
Do what?
Was it the Lego one?
Yeah, the Lego video. So he and I sat down and we wrote out everything we thought people needed to know about Lego. That probably took an hour. We gathered up all the materials and then recorded it all together. That was probably 2 more hours. And then editing it was another like 7 hours, and then doing the thumbnail, promoting the video, whatnot. So I probably have like 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours in that one video, and it's like a 30-minute video. So someone thinks like, oh, that was 30 minutes. Like, no, it's like a 10 hours to just do that one thing.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it than people. I think people always think that YouTube is like this get rich quick thing, and it's definitely a lot of work.
I had someone say this week, if reselling was so good for you, then you wouldn't have the need for a YouTube channel. And I thought, if you had any idea how much YouTube takes away from my reselling, I could do so much more revenue reselling if I wasn't 10 hours for one video. You know how many things I could list in 10 hours? You know what I mean? And the video at last time that I checked it, when it had 2,000 views, I'd made $26 on it. Most people
Yeah.
don't work 10 hours for $26. And so I just thought, yeah, it's not a get rich quick scheme. It is I have to create, or something inside me is going to have to come out some way. I have to create, and I love to teach. I love to learn. And so I want to teach what I know about reselling. I'm not getting rich on YouTube.
I mean, I'm not even monetized. So I
Yeah.
make my channel to try and teach others, and so I get that. Have you planned to take any time off during Thanksgiving?
So, Thanksgiving is so weird for me. I'm at the point, basically, I don't know why Thanksgiving would even exist in our house. I'm gonna poll on Instagram, and I'm gonna ask people like, what are the top 2 things about Thanksgiving? I'll ask you, Tiffany, what are your top 2 favorite things about Thanksgiving? And what's the meaning, I guess? What's the best part of Thanksgiving?
Well, my family is kind of all over the place. So my parents are in Florida now. So
Same.
honestly, the food, and then now I have it with my brother. So I don't always get to see him, but it'd probably be the food and getting to see my brother, which, I mean, he doesn't live far, but we lead different
I feel like
different
for most
lives. So
people, it's like the food and the family. Like, people love the turkey. And so I cook 3 meals a day, every single day for our family. We have, a meat and 2 sides, but I say meat because here's the kicker. Like, we're vegans and vegetarians at my house. There's no turkey. Thanksgiving food is not the same at my house. Like, we'll make like our vegan version of it, but it's no different than a meal I might cook any other day. Other than like it would be in abundance. And then family, like, we don't my husband's family is 5 hours away and mine is 18 hours away. I mean, we don't have a single cousin, an aunt, an uncle, no one, like none of our siblings here. And so no one's coming over.
yeah,
I'm like, can we just skip it? Does it have to exist? It's not like a holy day, like not like a holiday. So I don't feel like sacrilegious for skipping over it. I feel more emotionally attached to Valentine's Day than I do Thanksgiving. Like, so do I plan to take any time off? I'm asking them if they want to go somewhere and do something. Am I lame if I just like skip Thanksgiving and we go do something fun
not at
instead?
all. You make a good point. Like, if it's just not something that you guys have the family for, I don't think you're lame at all.
I mean, we always run a 5K Thanksgiving morning, and there is one a little more local to us. We usually have to drive an hour to Cape Girardeau to run the 5K there, but they're actually having one like 7 miles from my house, I think. So we may do the 5K. I don't know. We may get out of town, see some city we've never seen, but then like places are closed, obviously.
Yeah. Well, you could do some shopping. Do
See,
some like
like what Melanie
retail
said.
arbitrage so that you can sell on eBay.
True, true. I did say, maybe I could Black Friday Thanksgiving. Melanie cooks a lot too. Like, yeah, like Thanksgiving we make macaroni and cheese and mashed potatoes and stuff all the time. So it's not super. weird. And then I'm like, well, we get dressed up. And then I'm thinking, my boys never want to dress up. It's always me
We don't.
begging them to put a collared shirt on.
That's funny.
The nap does sound good. I could take a nap.
It's been a long day. Does your hubby go shopping with you?
Yeah, Drew's pretty good about shopping with me. He's gotten to where he goes to the thrift stores. Sometimes even if he's at a work, like out of town on work, because he works for a lot of corporations and stuff. He's an electrician, so he may be doing the lights at like a Marshalls or a Ross or something, and he's always kind of eyeing around some retail arbitrage. It's kind of funny because he resells now too. He sells sneakers on Whatnot, and he has an eBay.
Wow, that's awesome. My husband will go when he's like not fighting fires and stuff. We would always go yard sailing in the summer together. He'd love that. And he has his own
Nice.
eBay too, but he doesn't ever have time to do it. But he does like to go with me. So he likes to
Yeah.
shop. Let me see what other. How would you say YouTube has helped your reselling success, or has it not really had an effect? I know Harry Tornado is like always saying that like a lot of his sales, especially on like Whatnot and eBay, come from his following, and it's not necessarily typical. Would you say that YouTube has helped your reselling business at all?
In the way of giving me a community that I don't work for myself by myself. I have coworkers like Melanie, Christopher, Coco, Chrissy, Mary, everyone that's in the chat. Like these are my coworkers. They're also my experts. If I need to know something, about a certain niche or genre, and one of these people know all about it, I message them. And then vice versa. If they want to, help with something that they think I know a lot about, or maybe it's a FaceTime while we both list or hanging out, in each other's chats and things. I would say that that's huge because sometimes you can get so lonely in a job or in a field that alone could be reason to walk away because your mental health means so much. And so
Yeah.
like these guys and girls, the mental health boost that they give me, the serotonin I get from this community, I don't think I would be as deep into the community if I didn't have my YouTube channel. So it has helped me, and it has helped me with accountability because I put really audacious goals out there very loudly so that people will hold me accountable. So when I said I'm going to resell every single thing in this death pile, I'm going to list 50 items a day, I'm going to pay cash for a brand new car, I knew that if I fell on my butt, they were all going to be watching and they would hold me accountable. And so accountability and community for sure, but not as far as the viewer sales, which is fine. I mean, I don't expect that. It's always kind of cool when I see a viewer sale though.
Yeah. Do they like say in the comments or whatever, hey, I watch your channel?
Yeah, sometimes people will say like, "I love your channel," or something like that, on eBay. Now on Whatnot, I think every person that's in this chat has bought something from me on Whatnot. Like the community just supports each other because that's more social media style platform, and so you carry over from one social media to another, and we're all. Likewise, I think I've bought something from every person that's in this chat on their Whatnot. It's different.
Let me see. So my mom absolutely loves Whatnot. She's on there
It's
all the
addictive,
time.
isn't it?
She is. I kind of stepped back from it for a little bit because of the time.
Yeah,
I'm not done with it completely, but there's a lot on my plate. I'm every which way right now, so we kind of put that on the back
yeah.
burner for now. Do I have any more? What are your goals right now? You said you threw out big audacious goals, but what are your goals for your business like in the next 6 to 12 months?
I'd like to decrease my listings overall over on eBay. There for a while I was really pumping for more listings, more listings, more listings, and even at the sake of compromising quality, I was just worried about quantity. I think I got up to like 1700 before I realized that I don't want to have 1700 listings. And my sell-through rate was just trash. And so I started taking some of that stuff and liquidating it and selling it off in mass at incredible like reseller prices, on Whatnot. And then some of it, like all of those clothes, 300 listings from yesterday, some of that stuff I cut in half or less. I mean, I sold one of the shirts for $9 with free shipping. I just want it gone. So that may not I mean, it may be a different type of goal because there's not a huge financial gain that comes with that, but the freedom that it will allow me, I think is worth more than money. I don't have a space in this office to put another listing. And so it's also hindering me when I see, a huge estate sale or something. I could go shop, but where am I going to put that? You know?
Yeah.
I have to get rid of some of these listings, especially some of the stuff that I bought early on in reselling. So yeah, make your goals, definitely make them personal. Um, that's one of mine. I want to get, if I could get under 1,000 listings, I'd be thrilled with that.
Yeah. Do you cross list to every platform? Like, is every single item you have on eBay, is that cross posted to the other platforms, or do you pick and choose?
Not everyone for sure, especially if it's over 5 pounds, it's not going to go on Poshmark. I'm just not dealing with it. If it's very big or bulky, it's probably not going on Poshmark. I do a lot of like my clothes and my designer stuff. And then, sometimes even things that are a little bit bulky or heavier, but not oversized, not over the 5 pounds. Those will do well on Poshmark because it's still the $8 or whatever in shipping. But I use Vindu to cross list and I'm enjoying it. I'm on their unlimited plan. I don't know, this year or this month, I think it was like $69 or something. So I'm going to try to get everything I want to. And then I may even adjust that and like go down to a lesser level. But while it's unlimited this month, I'm going to get everything cross listed that I want to.
Yeah.
I actually just erased everything off of my Poshmark in August. I mean, I took every listing off. Um, I took every single listing off and I've been adding those back on there. So I need to like get on it while during this last month of me paying that much for Vindu.
Yeah. You can
You can
sell
sell houses on eBay.
you can sell houses?
Yeah, you can sell. There's a real estate category on eBay. The first
Hey,
thing I ever sold on eBay was a semi truck,
what?
like a
Like a
full
real
size semi truck. Yeah, I
like, how
created my eBay account for that.
I think you need to tell us about that story. Tell us about that.
My dad was an over the road truck driver, but he was an owner operator and he decided to get out of it. And, not being like super tech savvy, he's like, how can we do this? And I'm like, I think instead of trying to sell it locally, you should list it on like one of those websites on, well, not Craigslist, because that's just for like weirdos. How about we list on eBay? And I created an eBay. I like had no idea what I was doing. So my dad's he's responsible for me having my eBay, that's for sure. Um, and we listed his truck and a guy in New Jersey, I live in Missouri, a guy in New Jersey flew in and bought it and drove it back.
Wow.
Yeah, the very first thing I ever sold. So people are like, "Oh, I don't have any feedback yet." I realized that was a different time. That was like 15 years ago, but still, I didn't have any feedback and someone bought a $13,000 semi truck from me.
Wow. I'm always afraid to sell, like, really expensive things on eBay because I'm afraid of scammers. Have you had to deal with a lot of scammers or just bad sales on eBay?
I've dealt more with like people taking advantage of eBay's system than I ever have scammers, but I also still think that I got into eBay at a different time. If you create a new eBay account today, is no different than if you create a new Whatnot or new Poshmark. People come out of the woodworks thinking, "Oh, this is their very first time here. I love this item, but I'd like to talk to you on cell phone." And they'll gather, your personal information or try to scam you in one way. So I can sympathize with brand new sellers on these platforms because I know that they're coming out of the woodworks at you. So I try to create like scam warning videos if I hear of a scam that is going around. Like I heard about the Whatnot scam and was telling them, and now that's part of Whatnot's onboarding. Like they are listening in our community, and as soon as they saw the video, they start telling people about that on onboarding. But like I deal with customers sometimes that don't read the description and then get angry, and everyone's fighting a battle and some demon you know nothing about. If it's worth just, cutting ties and walking away. I probably wasn't so nonchalant about it in the beginning, but now I'm just like, my time is really precious. My energy more than anything, and protecting like positive energy around you is really important. Just like do what you can and move on.
Mm. What are some tips that you would give some beginner resellers that would, maybe just kinda push them into doing it if they think it might be for them? Like, what are some good tips?
So if you do, I know we're always telling people, look around your house, see the stuff that you don't want anymore and list that. I think again that comes with a big caveat, because if you open up your mug cabinet and decide I don't want blue mugs anymore, the sell-through rate on blue mugs is probably crap. Okay. So how discouraged are you going to be? Look around your house for stuff you don't want and check the sell-through rate. We are always only telling like seasoned resellers to check the sell-through rate. So if you're unfamiliar, look at how many are listed, your 90-day, filter by sold, and look at how many have actually sold in the last 90 days. If those numbers aren't close to one another, if they're not at least 50% of one another, it's probably not going to be worth your time. If there's 1,000 blue mugs listed and 10 have sold this past 90 days, you're just going to be listed for a long, long time. So that's when people start reselling and they're really just listing their junk, and then they wonder why it doesn't work. And so, yeah, go comp your in-laws junk. Yeah, that's true. And the other piece of advice would be to set a budget for yourself. I initially set a budget of myself for $5. I didn't spend more than $5 on anything, even if worst case scenario happened, if you got scammed, if whatever happened, you weren't in the item for more than $5. So you weren't going to lose your shirt. You weren't going to have to close your doors because it was $1,000 item that you sold that got lost in the mail and you didn't insure it, or you didn't package it correctly so the insurance didn't pay. Set a budget.
Yeah. Do you have any protections in place, like insurance or anything like that? I know we did the video before where we talked about like the lawsuits, but do you have any? Are there any
As far as errors and omissions? And I really don't. I mean, the video that you and I did, it was really eye-opening to how much, I mean, we want to say we're self-employed and how little control you actually have over your business, and how little control you have over absolute destruction raining down on your business, inadvertently. No, I don't. I don't have. I mean, is it smart to? Probably should look into something like that. I don't have health insurance either, Tiffany. So I'm probably the worst person to ask about insurance.
Well, you want to be not so cheap that you're not healthy, but
yeah, my health insurance is like, we pray a lot and eat good food and move our bodies. If anything massive happens, hey, community.
Don't break a leg. Does anybody else have any questions? I've hit.
I know Mary asked something about motivation earlier.
Let me see if
I was trying to think of what I could tell her that would be. What do you have to say about motivation? Okay, here's what I have to say about motivation. Motivation is great. Motivation is good. I want to put out like motivating videos that like light a fire. And I know some people were like, I don't even like Lego until I heard you guys talk about it, and I'm motivated. Motivation is wonderful, but it's not what will get the job done. Understand that you need discipline. And this girl, Mary, she has discipline. She will list even on her sick day. She has sick day piles of little stuff that she'll list. Discipline is greater than motivation. And I cannot discipline you in a video. I cannot teach you to be disciplined. It's only going to come with practice and habits. You're going to become the sum of all your tiny little habits in a day. So get up and start getting the work done, get dressed to your shoes, like the fly lady says, right? Like do all the little things that are representative of the person that you want to be. Like that type of discipline is what's going to get you there.
Speaking of discipline, do you have any systems in place that like help you on a daily basis? You say I'm going to list so many items a day, or I'm going to source so many items a day. Do you have any systems?
I would really love to get 10 items listed minimum. Lately, that's really not happened. I have no one to blame but myself. At the end of the day, I have time to list 10 items. So over the remainder of the winter, I definitely would like to get to, 5 to 10 listings every single day. I've been doing good about listing in the morning. Set a timer, I guess, is a really good system. If you can say, I'm going to work for the next hour, because like I was talking to Chris Phillips, Buck Mountain Barn. He said, if you cannot figure out how to discipline yourself and figure out your 8-hour day schedule, you're going to have to work for someone who will. They're going to tell you exactly when you're allowed to take your 30 minutes for lunch, when you're allowed to go pee, that you're not allowed to be on your phone. So you have to, thank you, Mary. You have to figure that out, or someone will figure it out for you. So set a timer and say, sorry, for the next hour, I'm going to list, and no distractions, and set your little egg timer. There's something magic about writing it down and setting a timer. Those are 2 things that I do. Hey, Missy.
I don't think I have any more questions. You were
I love
absolutely
to, like, do you write your stuff down, Tiffany? Like, whenever you have a goal, do you write it down?
I write so much stuff down. I wish I had it down here. It's actually upstairs, but I found this new planner. It's called Rocketbook. Have you heard of it?
I just got a Rocketbook, but I don't have their planner. I just have the notebook.
So mine is like half planner, half notebook. It's half and
I've been
half.
using it as a planner daily, but I really enjoy the Rocketbook because I don't need the paper at the end of the day. I can wipe it clean.
And then or if there's something like you need to put, you could take a little picture in your phone. So that's what I've been using. I'd say I got mine probably maybe 6 months ago. It was around my birthday. So I got that and I've been using that and I've been like writing everything down that I want to do. I'll even put like family stuff or what meals I'm gonna cook for the week. I'm not as great about it as I should, but it's definitely
It
definitely helped.
helps.
And I do love that I can wipe it off because normally before that I would just have like my desk is covered in these little notes because I write
Yeah, and
everything.
I don't need to have every happy planner that I ever wrote in, and then they're so pretty, I feel like, "Oh, I can't throw that away." And, like,
And
if you
they're
guys are
expensive.
unfamiliar. Do what?
The happy planners are expensive too.
Oh, I know, yeah, but they're so pretty. If you
Oh,
guys are unfamiliar, what we're talking about is this notebook. They make a couple different versions, but the version that she and I both have, you write in it with a Pilot friction pen, and it's smudge proof, like, nothing's coming off. It is paper, and it is ink on paper, but then you take this little microfiber cloth and wet it and wipe the entire thing off. And they have a version, I don't know if you know about this. They have a version that you put in the microwave and you microwave it and it erases the pages.
wow. Well, ours probably could too because it's heat that makes it go.
Yes, it is heat, but mine says specifically not to put it in the microwave.
I mean, I would have put mine in the microwave, but I know mine said like don't leave it in a hot car or your writing is gonna go
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, or if you rub it, hard enough, yeah, you're gonna erase it. But I enjoy it, and we have a dry erase board, beside our refrigerator that every month I'll write down. So right now we have November and I have everything on there that our whole family is doing. And if you have something, you write it down. That way I know, you know, today, Thursday, the what is it, the 9th, Israel has a play date here. Drew is working at so and so. Dello has play practice after school. I need to run 7 miles. Everyone's stuff is on there on the same little cube. So I love the dry erase family board. And then beyond that, it's like setting my individual goals. I will put those on the refrigerator. So like hitting 10K on YouTube, that was a thermometer on the refrigerator. 15K, 20K, and right now it goes up to 23K because 23 is my favorite number. So every 100 subscribers, we color in a block, and my kids love seeing the growth. Like I write stuff down. I'm telling you, something magic happens when you write it down.
It is. They always say that, you're much more likely to reach goals when you write them down. We use an app, my husband and I, for like the family things where if he has an appointment or something, he puts it in there and we get a notification. So that's what we do for like family stuff. But my
Yeah.
Rocketbook is all me. But yeah, I like that you can, for those of you who didn't know about it, you can like take a picture
Mhm.
with your phone and it like automatically scans it. You can put it in your drive, you can send it to your email, you can send it to all these different places so that when you want to erase it, you still have access to it and you can like put hashtags in it. You can like just literally search it and it searches your handwriting. You can have it like turn your handwriting into like text. It's awesome. So
It is pretty cool. Yeah. I'm liking it. I thought I would use it a little while longer before I do like a reel about it or something like that, just to tell people because I wanted one for a long time. And I don't know why I wouldn't pull the trigger. Probably because
as
it
it's
was kind of
expensive.
expensive. Yes. So I ended up finding mine on sale. It was $12
Oh my
for the
God.
notebook. So
Jeez.
I was like, okay. And mine has like the dots and for several pages, like at least 10 pages, and then it has lines for 10 pages.
Yeah. Mine has the calendar, it's got, like, planning pages, it's got meeting notes, it's got
I like
it's got
that.
the dots, and then it's got, like, just plain pages. It's got so much in it, but mine, I ended up getting a Amazon gift card for my birthday, and that's what I bought it for because it was too expensive for me to, like, actually buy it
Yeah.
myself, but I love it. I use it
Same.
all the time, and they actually make not just pens too, but they make markers and highlighters that you can use for them too, they also erase, so
Nice. Happy Picker's here. Hi, Lori.
Oh, it is total. Thank you. It's totally not organized. Like the boxes are on a shelf, but everything in the boxes is not organized. Like it should be. I have little letters that like I should have it like in my what do they call it? I can't think of the word, but
In your
the
SKU there.
SKU. Nothing is sorted by SKU. I just kind of mentally know where everything is for the most
Yeah.
part. I'm like, I know that this thing is in this general box. So let me look through these boxes.
Yeah, I have like one box is holiday stuff and one box is wooden whatnots and stuff, and one is kids clothes, women's shirts. Mine's by category.
Well, underneath that blanket is my death pile.
That's not bad.
Well, I also have a bunch of death pile in the garage too. So my husband keeps, hey, get rid of it.
So Happy Picker, I don't know if you guys saw yet. She posted it on her Instagram this morning. They're doing a Midwest because you're in Illinois, right?
I'm in Indiana, right close
Indiana,
to.
okay. Ooh, it's gonna be a little far for you, but they're having a Midwest reseller meetup in February. It's gonna be in Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh yeah, that's kind of far.
Yeah, it'd probably still be like 16 hours or something for you, like at
Yeah,
least 12
and
hours.
my husband he's gonna be working a lot, so he just got a new job. So
Yeah. Well, I told her if I knew for sure I wouldn't get caught in a snowstorm, I'd organize it right now. But I think I want to go to it. It's
yeah.
like the last weekend in February, and it's only $99 to go.
Oh, very bad.
I know. I feel like I need to make plans to go. It's
I
called
want to go.
Planes to Profit.
Oh, I want to go because I wanted to go to FlipCon, and I was like, okay, well, I couldn't afford it this year, and then now he's not even doing it. So I think that somebody needs to just take FlipCon over. So
Someone bought it.
they did. That's
Yeah, I don't know
awesome.
that they have plans for immediately next year, but they will revamp it and still host it. The same people that own Boss Reseller Remix bought it because they wanted to have an East Coast meetup as well. So the name has been purchased.
Oh, that's awesome. Hopefully, maybe a little bit closer to the middle of the United States
I
too.
know,
But
right? We need like a St. Louis reseller,
yeah,
thing. Maybe
I
one
want
day.
to hear. I want to hear about the lizard. Like,
Oh my
do
god.
you live somewhere warm? Like,
She
how
lives in
does?
Oklahoma, like kind of south Oklahoma, so it's kind of warmish, but it's been really warm here too. Have y'all not been warm in Indiana?
I
Like
mean,
unseasonably warm?
a little bit. I mean, on Halloween it was like 27 and snowing, but then it was like
The one day we needed it to be warm.
yeah, then it was in like the 50s, 60s.
It's been like 80s this week. That's insane for Southeast Missouri for this time of year.
Yeah, maybe we should all just like come up with our own like Midwest, Mideast, whatever
Yeah.
conference and just do it.
That's what they did essentially. It's Happy and Grumpy Picker, and then they're with two other couple resellers all promoting it. And like Reseller Genie is sponsoring it, and like it's a big thing. They're gonna take a party bus to the thrift store. Yeah, it's gonna be
That
pretty
reminds
cool.
me of when Harry Tornado took the limo thrift shopping and then he hit his. Did you see that video?
I remember when he hit 100,000 subscribers, him and Drew and Joey took the limo, and then they bought a
Yeah,
bunch of clothes for the impoverished, and then the places wouldn't take the clothes.
stuck in his face.
Bless his
Oh,
heart.
I'd be likely to get like spiders. Oh, Happy Picker is on. You gotta come. I will do my best. My issue is childcare. My husband
Yeah. How
isn't.
old are your kids?
My son is 9 and my daughter is 3.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
my son, it's a little bit easier for him, but to find
Yeah.
he can go to friends and whatever. But
Right.
depending on the time of the year, maybe we can send them down to Florida with grandma and grandpa.
That's cool.
They're still, I don't know if they are, but does anybody have any other questions for Rachel? Or I don't want to take up too much of her time, but no other questions come in. We'll give it a minute. But I just want to say thank you again for having you on. I know that ever since you found me, actually, you've been such an inspiration, and
Thank
I
you.
love watching your videos. That,
Yeah,
that, that would be awesome. I didn't mean like bringing them because I'd love to have a vacation without my kids, but I just have issues finding childcare. to do anything ever, but
Where at in Florida are your folks?
they are up by Georgia. But hey, they
Oh,
said,
pretty far north.
let me just make a whole bunch of money reselling so I can afford to send them there.
Just sell that death pile behind you. Death pile to a vacation.
Yeah, gotta
No,
keep
I'm so
kids.
appreciative that you agreed to come over on my channel because you didn't know me from anyone, and I just showed up in your video, and I was like, I could not believe what you were saying happened in your video about being sued and everything. And I remember I was listening to it on the way to Walmart because I had a bunch of stuff to do that day, but I just put you over in the passenger seat and just listened. And when I got to the parking lot, I immediately commented and I was like, would you consider coming on my channel and telling the world about this? Whoever's going to show up and watch. And we did that live. So I'm so appreciative that you did that.
Yeah, that video, you're live, but my video that you're referring to, that video actually was like almost went viral for me. Like it's my most watched video. And it was just I like my whole reason for sharing it. Like I went vacant on YouTube for probably almost a year because just going through that struggle and it was just really hard and I didn't really know what to say. I felt a little afraid to share my story,
Yeah.
but I did and it helped a lot of people, I hope. So, I mean, I still see people posting with stuff like that popping up. Like honestly, I used to do Mary Kay and I seen somebody share in the one of the eBay groups that I'm in that they just got like this big letter from Mary Kay yesterday. And so it was, I mean, it's something that a lot of people don't really think about happening. But like, I mean, is there even anything you can do? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if there is like an insurance you can have to protect you against something like that. Oh, sorry, something like that. But
I don't know. Would
nobody
errors and
knows.
omissions like work for something like that? Because technically it was your error? I don't know.
I don't know.
I could see Christopher's inventory being all over the place with no SKUs. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I have plans to have SKUs entered. Like that's why I have all the little letters on my boxes, but there's just so many other I'd rather list my death pile than input, all the SKUs. So most of the stuff in the boxes is listed, but not all of it.
There's always some more important work that needs to happen. I would rather have it like that one's in the blue triangle. Like I'm such a visual person, and that's why the categories work so much better for me. I have a box of children's books, a box of plush. The 3 boxes down there are all shoes. And worst case scenario, I got to look through 3 boxes of shoes. But it's kind of that photographic memory thing that you're talking about. I know which box it's in.
That's how I used to have mine before I got all these boxes. I would have like totes and stuff.
Mhm.
But I wanted to be a little bit more organized. So, but again, I know like there's one box there that does say shoes, and like there's a few in the back that say bathing suits. So, but then I kind of like spread out my niche too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I guess it would only work if you were in multiple niches. Can you imagine like dealing with Dalton if he was just like, "Oh, it's in the shoe box." Like they're all shoe boxes. That's all he sells is shoes.
yeah. So, definitely. Well, I keep looking forward to seeing your videos, and I hope that you hit 23,000 really, really soon. And I will be watching.
Yeah, the SKUs. That could be helpful for a lot of people. I think it depends on if you're right-brained or left-brained.
I think it also depends on how much inventory you have because if you only have like 100, 200 listings, it's going to be a lot easier to find it. Whereas if you have thousands, then it's
Yeah,
going to be a whole lot harder.
very true. So I have a video that I'm working on right now that is about to be released that I hope people find it well. It is going to be like kind of a my thrifted designer bag collection.
Ooh.
So that's hey Patricia, that's kind of outside of the norm. I hope that people want to see it and just kind of talking about like thrifting and buying luxury on eBay and whatnot, places like that people are afraid to buy luxury and designer products. But when I'm getting a several $100 wallet for $50 or, a couple $1,000 bag for $100 or less. And just kind of want to share with people how to find those good deals.
I mean, you might have already like planned to include it, but like you might want to include how to tell if they're legit or not because then like there's people like me like I steer away from that because I don't know anything about like high-end stuff like I'm so
Yeah.
cheap like I'd love to know. I just don't know. So I would look at it and be like, oh, this must be real. And it's totally not. So
So I do some authentication videos on my channel, but I pair them a real one with a fake. And the fake, I'm so confident it's fake. I have to be because I cut it up in the video. And so I'll say, well, this is such and such, and let's just rip into it. And then we rip into it, and it's cardboard inside, or it's disgusting, or it's glue. And so I basically deconstruct these fake bags, and we destroy them throughout the video.
well, that
You
sounds
might
fun.
enjoy some of those. I have one on pair of Christian Louboutin heels. I have a Louis Vuitton one that's like that. I know I have a Dooney Burke that I like totally just with a knife just cut these bags. I think I have a Coach one too.
That's awesome. Well, I really enjoyed this, Rachel. Thank you so much. And I will let you go spend some more time with your children and your husband. And I will see you next time. We should do this again sometime. Thank you.
For sure. Thanks everyone in the chat. Thank you guys for coming out.
Bye.